Ever scroll through social media and wonder how they know I'd want to see that? Or maybe those eerily accurate product recommendations while online shopping get you?
It's kind of spooky how well they seem to know us sometimes.
Right. Well, we can thank or blame AI-based modeling for that.
AI is everywhere these
It
days.
really is. Ready to take a deep dive with me into the world of AI and how it's quietly shaping our world?
Absolutely. Let's unlock those how did they do that moments.
We're diving into some fascinating research today. Excerpts from this article in SN Computer Science really breaks down AI-based modeling.
Kind
And
of.
trust me, this isn't just for the techies.
Not at all. This is about understanding something that's transforming everything,
Yeah.
healthcare, to how our cities run, you name it.
Exactly. It's impacting all of us. This deep dive is about giving you the knowledge to navigate this rapidly changing world.
We're living in exciting times. The fourth industrial revolution industry 4.0. Remember when smart and intelligent were just buzzwords?
Like they were just slapped onto products to get us to buy them.
Now those terms are just the baseline.
Right, totally. And at the heart of it all is artificial intelligence, or AI. But what does that even mean? What are we talking about when we say AI?
Basically, giving machines human-like intelligence. Systems that can analyze information, make decisions, solve problems, even understand and respond to us, almost like another person.
So, more than just robots taking over. Although I admit that thought does cross my mind sometimes.
Oh, way more. AI is way too diverse to be just one thing. This article breaks it down into 5 main flavors.
5 flavors. Now you're speaking my language. Let's hear it. What are these AI flavors?
First up, analytical AI, the Sherlock Holmes of data, always hunting for clues and patterns. It's the engine behind those algorithms that predict things like business risks.
So, like a financial watchdog, sniffing out fraud. Makes sense. What else?
Then we have functional AI, which goes a step further. It not only analyzes information, but takes action in the real world.
Okay, so it's actually doing something. Give me an example.
Think robotic arms, assembling cars in factories. That's functional AI. Or even something as common as your smart thermostat. It's adjusting the temperature based on your past behavior. Machines interacting with and influencing the world around us.
Interesting. So it's not just about thinking, it's about acting on that thinking. Very cool. What's next?
Now, interactive AI, the master communicator of the AI world, all about user-friendly tech.
Making our lives easier.
Exactly. Think about those chatbots that answer your questions online.
Or when I ask my smart speaker to play my favorite podcast.
Exactly. That's interactive AI, making our interactions with technology as natural as possible, just like chatting with a helpful friend.
And I have to say, they're getting better at that natural part all the time. What other AI personalities are out there?
Next, we have textual AI, the wordsmith of the AI world. This is what allows computers to not only understand, but generate human language.
Like those instant translation tools, it's mind-blowing how they can translate between so many languages.
It really is. Or those AI writing tools becoming so advanced, they can practically write a novel for you.
A little unnerving how good some of those AI writers are getting. Okay, we've got 4 flavors down. Analytical, functional, interactive, and textual. What's the final flavor?
Last but not least, visual AI. This one is essentially giving machines the gift of sight. They can see and understand visual information just like we do.
Okay, how does that work?
Think facial recognition on your phone, medical imaging systems that help doctors diagnose diseases, even those self-driving cars. Visual AI is behind it all.
Okay, that's wild. So we've got these 5 AI personalities: analytical, functional, interactive, textual, and visual. It's like the AI Avengers, each with its own superpower. But how do these systems actually work? What's the magic behind the curtain?
That's where things get really cool, and that's where these AI techniques come in. This article outlines 10 key categories, each with its own strengths and uses. We'll keep it simple and focus on the core concepts. Just a peek behind the curtain without getting lost in the technical details.
Sounds good to me. So let's unlock this AI toolkit. What's the first tool we need to understand?
Let's start with the powerhouse machine learning, all about training algorithms to learn from data. Imagine giving a computer a mountain of information and saying, all right, find the patterns, figure out the rules, and use that to make predictions.
So instead of programming a computer with specific instructions, we're basically saying, here's a ton of data, go figure it out.
Exactly, like teaching someone to ride a bike, not by giving them a physics lecture, but by letting them hop on and learn from their wobbles and falls.
So instead of step-by-step instructions, it's more like figure it out as you go.
Exactly. And just like with riding a bike, there are different approaches to learning from data. Within machine learning, we have things like supervised learning. Think of it like training a dog with treats with every correct action gets rewarded.
So you're guiding the learning process.
Right. You give the algorithm labeled data so it knows what it's aiming for. Then there's unsupervised learning, a bit more like giving a kid a box of Legos. They learn by playing around, building, seeing what works.
Discovering hidden connections without a roadmap.
You got it.
That's amazing. Okay, what about neural networks and deep learning? Those sound pretty intense.
Definitely at the forefront. Imagine the human brain, billions of interconnected neurons. Neural networks are kind of like that, complex structures, mimicking how our brains process information, especially for things like image recognition or understanding language.
Giving machines a digital brain.
Exactly, a brain that's really good at specific tasks.
Yeah.
In deep learning, we're talking about those really massive neural networks with many layers, like a whole team of expert pattern spotters, each one looking for something specific.
Working together to make sense of what they're seeing.
You got it. So, if machine learning is teaching a computer to ride a bike, deep learning is like training it for the Tour de France.
Love that analogy. So we've got computers riding bikes and now competing in the Tour de France. What's next?
Now let's talk data. Data mining, knowledge discovery, advanced analytics. This is where we take those mountains of data and start digging for gold.
Making sense of it all, right? Finding the aha moments hidden in the numbers.
Precisely. It's like having a team of detectives, but for data. They're not just looking at what happened, they're figuring out why it happened, and more importantly, what might happen next.
So it's like predictive analysis.
Exactly. It's about uncovering those hidden patterns and using them to make smarter decisions, whether it's a business, healthcare, you name it.
That's powerful stuff. What's next in our AI arsenal?
Let's talk about rule-based modeling and decision-making. This one is all about logic and using if-then rules. Imagine programming a chess computer. You give it the rules of the game, and it uses those rules to make its moves.
Okay, so very logical, methodical.
Right. But it gets interesting when we combine rule-based systems with other AI techniques, like machine learning.
The best of both worlds.
Exactly. That's when you start to see systems that can not only follow rules, but learn and adapt as they go.
Constantly getting smarter. Okay, I'm ready for the next tool. What about fuzzy logic? That one sounds a bit...
For fuzzy.
It's not as complicated as it sounds. The name can be a little misleading. You might think logic should be crystal clear, black and white.
Right, that's what I would think. But the real world is messy, right? Full of gray areas. Fuzzy logic gets that. It lets systems make decisions even when things aren't perfectly clear-cut.
Can you give me an example? How does that work in real life?
Think of a smart irrigation system for your garden. Instead of just watering on a fixed schedule, a system using fuzzy logic considers other factors, like the weather.
Makes sense. Like if it rained recently, you wouldn't want to overwater.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fuzzy logic allows the system to adapt, just like a human gardener would. It's about using logic, but in a way that embraces the messiness of the real world.
I like that. Embracing the messiness. Okay, what's next in our AI toolbox?
Next up, knowledge representation, uncertainty reasoning, and expert system modeling. We're moving into the realm of capturing human expertise.
So like bottling up the knowledge of a human expert and putting it into a computer.
You got it. These expert systems are designed to be incredibly knowledgeable in very specific areas, like medicine or finance.
So you could have a system that can diagnose diseases as accurately as a top doctor, even if you're miles away from a hospital.
Exactly. That's the
Yeah.
potential. Of course, building these systems is incredibly complex. We have to capture all that human knowledge, all those years of experience, and translate it into something a machine can understand.
That's mind-blowing. It seems like the possibilities are endless. Okay, what about case-based reasoning? Does that involve, like, looking at past cases and using them to solve new ones?
You're exactly right. It's all about learning from experience. Think of it like a detective solving a case by recognizing patterns from previous investigations.
That makes sense. So it's not just about having a ton of data, it's about knowing how to use that data effectively.
Right. And that's what makes case-based reasoning so powerful. It's a way of leveraging experience, of learning from the past to make better decisions in the present.
It's like that saying, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. But in this case, it's more like, those who can remember the past have a better chance of succeeding in the future.
I like that. A very AI-powered twist on a classic quote.
Okay, I'm ready for the next tool in our AI kit. What about text mining and natural language processing, or NLP? I feel like we hear that one a lot these days.
And for good reason. It's a game changer. It's how we bridge the gap between humans and machines. NLP enables computers to understand and process human language, both written and spoken.
We're talking about everything from those instant translation tools we talked about earlier to those chatbots that are becoming more and more human-like in their responses.
Exactly. NLP is also behind sentiment analysis, where computers try to figure out how we feel.
Wait, seriously, like, computers can read our emotions now?
Well, not quite read our minds, but they're getting better at understanding the emotions expressed in text, like whether a tweet is positive, negative, or neutral.
It's amazing how far NLP has come. It's not just about understanding words anymore, it's about understanding the meaning behind those words.
Exactly. It's about context,